Welcome back to the channel, good friends. Brian from Apex Auction Car Reconditioning. We want to work on something that is a little annoying to look at, and it's normal for the sun beating down on it. This car pretty much lived its life outside, most of it anyway. So the wiper cowl has turned gray. It's supposed to be black. Let's take it off completely, get it on a table, restore it, get it looking good again, and we'll be another step closer, baby steps with this one, another step closer bringing this back to looking respectable on the roadway. Let's get to work. So it should be a nice, dark, rich black color, and it has turned gray, almost white. We're going to have to take the wiper arms off, and we'll paint those because those are looking sad as well. We're going to have to disconnect the hoses for the washer system, and then there are going to be five plastic clips all the way across, and then we can lift that off of there. Okay, the hoses for the white washer fluid, they pull off rather easily. Surprised they weren't dry rotted and cracked. 13 millimeter. It's the size of the nut that holds these wipers on. When you have the nut off of there, you're going to have to fight a little bit to get this off. It hasn't been off in quite some time. Here it is. It has grooves. Not sure if you can see that, but it's going to have some grooves in there. You don't want to strip them. So we'll take those off, take them over to the table, paint those as well. This has a plastic cap that's hiding the nut on that side. And that nut looks pretty rusty. So hopefully we can get that one off without too much of a fight, or it's stripping. It's coming. I was a little worried there because that's pretty bad. Let's see if I can find another nut similar to that size. Ooh, look at that sucker. That's been on there for a little while. We'll spray a little bit of the Penetrol 90. Schaefer's makes a lot of great products. Oils, gear oils, motor oils. Citral 266. And this penetrating fluid. We'll just let that soak a little bit, and then we'll fight with it some more. And eventually, if you wiggle it enough, it'll come off. You don't want to get anything crazy in there to pry it, because we have the windshield right here. If you crack the windshield, that is going to be a pricey fix. Okay, now it's time to pop these plastic rivets here, plastic clips. One. Two. Three. 4. 4, and one more right here in the corner. That's it. Now it's going to be clipped here in the corner. This actually clips around the windshield, so be careful. Again, you don't want to crack that windshield. That is an unnecessary, crazy expensive fix. Okay. Oh, we have something attached though. We have a little bit of a hose there. Wiper fluid hose. Where is that connected? Right there. Okay. We're just going to do this so we don't break them. Put them right there. Now we can remove this whole cowl. We'll have to get this clean before we restore it. All kinds of junk hanging in the vents there. We'll blow that out. We'll get a cleaner, prep the surface. Any cleaner, degreaser, APC would work. Spray it on there. Heavily spray it into my detailing brush. And go to town. Clean it up. Prepare the surface. Get the wiper arms as well. Might as well, because they look nasty. They need some help. Now let's mop things up a little bit here. Mop it up well because we need to make sure that the plastic is completely dry before the next step. Everything nice and clean. Now we just want to let it sit here and make sure it's 100% dry before we move on to the next step. If you need to use forced air to speed along the process, go ahead. Look at all the crud that we picked up from both the wiper arms and the cowl. When it comes to restoring this stuff, you've seen me over the years use so many different coatings and protectants and conditioners and restoration dyes and products. Today, I want to use something that I don't have to do multiple coats and mess with it. 2 layers, we're done, and it's, well, semi-permanent, permanent, depending on how the vehicle's treated from here on out. But today we're going to use something I haven't used on the channel for this stuff, and that is the Duplicolor trim and bumper paint. This is made for plastics, so it is pliable. It will fight the sun's rays. It will restore this much quicker, and let's get started. Coat number 1. The first coat, when I do this stuff, is always going to be kind of light. Just to get things going, get a layer on the surface that starts to bond, and then I get my layers on top of that. Make sure we have all the angles covered here. All right, so that's not a thick layer, it's thin. We're going to let that cure. And let's do the same thing with the wiper arms. Just a thin layer. Then we'll come back and give it a heavier coat in a couple minutes. 25-30 minutes is fine. Okay. Layer number 2 is going to be a bit heavier, so we have the mask on here to protect the lungs. Okay, we're going to clear the room, let things settle down a little bit with the overspray. We're going to let this cure for a few hours and we'll move on. Well, while that's drying, we have a hell of a mess going on in here, so let's clean that up. Now that we have things nice and clean, we can start to lay this back in there. We have to hook these okay, that's that. All right, there's that one. And we have one that should be going up in over here. All right. So we have that. Lock this in. Okay, that's locked in. Let's make sure that that's pointed towards the windshield. Okay, that's good. Now we can go with the plastic clips. Two, three more. Two more. Slide that front just a little bit. Squeeze it in there. Lock. One more. Now what in the devil? All right, there we go. Got it started. All right, next, wiper arms. In like this. And then we'll put it down like that. No, that's not the right one. That belongs over here. Okay. Yes, that's correct. Let's get the other one. All right. Let's plug in the hoses. There we go. This one here goes like this. And now just the two nuts that crank it down. And unfortunately, I could not find a nut here to replace that one. Snap this back on. Keep the weather out of there. And that is it. So much better. Just took a couple minutes to do. Anybody can do it. You could do it yourself. Oh yeah. Sissy, you're almost laying on the hose. Poor girl. So much better. Now we can move on to the next chore. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. So much better. Took so little time. And we have another chore marked off the list. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this about 48 hours or more to completely dry. And then I'm going to take my favorite ceramic coating. And it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be a dedicated plastic coating. Just any cracked open bottle of ceramic coating that I have, I'm going to protect the wiper arms, that plastic trim, and it will be good to go for years, well beyond what I have the car for. If you have any questions, don't hesitate. Brian from Apex Auction Car Reconditioning. I'll catch you in the next video.